Quick acknowledgement, please. Hopefully, my screen is visible, my voice is audible, and I am also audible to everyone. Can I get some acknowledgement on the chat, please? Not audible. I should be audible, guys. Is my voice audible to everyone? Let me check. I think, yeah, I am audible to everyone. Yeah. Great. I can see my voice being clearly audible. Can I just get a quick acknowledgement here? We are able to hear you. Perfect. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Prince and Shirish and everyone. Hi, everyone. Great. So, welcome to the masterclass, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you who are here, giving your very precious time on a Sunday evening. Uh, Probably most of you, might have a weekend in today's class, specifically. Some of you might have, like, Saturday, Sunday as weekend. Some of you might have just a single weekend, which is Sunday. Being over here at in the evening of a Sunday and giving your precious time to me. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. So let's quickly just first of all start with a little introduction. I'm not sure how many of you, or if anyone, any of you know me already, and you guys already have some context around me. Who am I and what am I doing over here? And everyone, so let's quickly start with a little introduction. Let me actually open my LinkedIn profile. I think but the best way to introduce yourself in 2026 is actually through your LinkedIn profile, right? So let me just open my LinkedIn profile. Hi everyone. So my name is Sanjay Mitreja. I currently work as a SD3 at Policy Bazaar, and I have been working over here as a backend software engineer for the company. I lead the car insurance domain for the company, the backend systems of the company. I am a 2021 pass out from one of the tier 3 universities, which is JLS University from Ahmedabad, Gujarat. And during my coursework there, I did multiple internships. I had a very good instinct of doing software engineering work from the college days itself. So was fortunate enough to get a few very good internships at a few companies. One of the company I interned at was UDIS Solutions, which is apparently one of the top service-based companies in the country. I got to work there as a backend software engineering intern. Created some really amazing projects and some really cool stuff around cryptocurrency-based games, NFT marketplaces, and blockchain based applications, some really cool stuff. This was the period of 2020 2021, the duration where crypto and blockchain was really like booming out of the box, right? The COVID period specifically. So got the chance to work on some really interesting projects there. Made some really cool stuff as a backend engineer. Interned then for almost 6 months there, and then got a full-time opportunity at UDIS itself. Worked there for almost 1.5 years, and then after I was given the opportunity to work with Policy Bazaar. You can see I've been working at Policy Bazaar from last 3.5 years. I've been I started there as an SD1, then SD2, then SD3 now. Uh, Right now, I technically lead the backend systems of the company, specifically the car insurance domain. Anything and everything that you see around car insurance at policybazaar.com is something that is being done by my team and me on the backend part of things. Yeah, so this is a little bit of my professional introduction. Coming to the other things that I do, I love teaching. I am a seasoned educator. I've taught students at multiple places, primarily at PhysicsWala, and I technically right now take the full stack development batch at PhysicsWala. I have taken around 2 to 3 batches at the platform, and I have taught over 500 students as of now. Primarily anything and everything around tech, from front end to back end to data structures and algorithms to system design to, let's say, machine learning stuff and artificial intelligence stuff a bit as well. Yeah, so this is a little bit of about myself, what I do, and what I work at. Hopefully I was able to introduce myself to everyone. Can I get a quick acknowledgement, please, if I was able to introduce myself to you guys? Let me check some chats. Give me a second, guys. Hopefully we are good in chat, people. Can I just get some interaction there, please? We use everything, buddy, around starting from the core part of systems that we have at our current company is majorly Node.js as a system on the backend, which is JavaScript framework, and we have Express. We have for Java. We also use Java at a certain places around Spring Boot and using Spring Boot along with Java. We also use Python at some portions using Flask and other things, and we also use a little bit of Golang for one of our services, right? So it's a mix of multiple technologies that we use for the backend systems at the company. uh, Great. Perfect, amazing. I can see some good responses in the chat. Amazing. Can I take? Okay. My volume is, I think, already up and full, I suppose. Okay, perfect. So I think I did introduce myself, guys. Would love to get a little gist of from where you guys come in. Like, what is your background? Are you guys students? Are you guys working professionals? So I would just want a quick introduction about you guys, like a 1 minute quick introduction. Let's say if you're a student, and in that case, just define me that in which college you are currently studying, what is your degree, and what is the current year you are in. So for example, let's say BTech from SRM University, third year, something like that. And let's say if you are a working professional, just tell me what is the degree you are pursuing, like what is the role that you are pursuing right now, and which company is it. That's it. I just need this basic information, guys. हम हिंदी इंग्लिश मिक्स रखेंगे गाइस, ठीक है. विल ट्राई टू कीप थिंग्स अ मिक्स्ड पैच ऑफ हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश बोथ. ठीक है. Okay. So Samira Das is first year CSC student from Triple IT Agartala. Amazing. IIT Delhi. Student BTech third year, SD intern at Deolite. Okay. Masters in social work, ISBM University. Okay, nice to meet you, buddy. AIML third year student. Okay, nice to see you here. BTech third year, amazing. Okay, BTech students, people from Nepal, people from Jaipur, amazing. Nice to see you guys. Amazing. Yeah, future of blockchain, Solidity developers. We'll talk about that. It's an interesting topic to take on that. Perfect. Infinity. We'll definitely talk about that. Yeah. Hi. Chitransh. Chitransh is from is from a graphics era, Dean to B University. Third year student. Amazing. Nice to meet you, buddy. Great. So what I understand that most of you are either students over here, or let's say working professionals. I think majorly 80 to 90% of the crowd that I can see is definitely students, and specifically what I can see, the highlighted portion is third and fourth year students who are here, which basically are the chunk of students who are going to get the most benefit out of this particular class. Because again, coming to the class, what is the agenda for the class? What is this masterclass all about? This is about how AI technically can be used for preparation in terms of your preparations for placements. Of it can be internship based placements or full-time based placements, whatever you're trying to do. Let's say if you're a first year student, second year student, you might be targeting internships as of now. Even if you're a third year student, you might be still targeting internships for your final year, right? So all the people who are like first year, second year, third year students, or let's say college students also. I can see a couple of college, like few college students over here. So anyone who is first year, second year, third year, or you know uh, before it, that is, let's say school students, will definitely be looking for something like internships or some sort of work that they can do to get the tech gist of real work, a real tech part. And people who are in their fourth year of graduation, or probably they are already working professionals working in some company, है ना, किसी भी company में काम कर रहे हो आप. You might be looking for a change in the job. You might be looking for a change of role, change of company, or probably you're working in a non-tech part of things. Let's say some non-tech role you are right now in, and you want to get into tech, है ना. So this is the two major set of people who can definitely benefit out of this class. ये क्लास में हम लोग डेफिनेटली AI कैसे जॉब हमारी ले लेगा उसके बारे में बात नहीं कर रहे हैं, ठीक है. द क्लास इज स्पेसिफिकली फोकस्ड ऑन बीइंग एन AI augmented engineer, or I would say any engineer who uses AI for their daily activity and specifically over here, the portion that we are going to focus on is how, as a student, as an aspirant, as a candidate, you should be using AI to, probably learn things, probably get your first internship, get your next job in a most efficient manner. That is the focus of this particular masterclass. I hope the context of the class is very much clear to all of you, right? Would love to take a lot of doubts, guys. I can see people adding doubts. Amanji, I would love to take your doubts, buddy. But I have kept the doubts part at the end of the class. Okay, so last 15 minutes of the class is going to be focused on the doubts. Okay, so I would request everyone to just be with me and just allow me to cover the entire content, the focus of the class that we have. Let's cover that, and then after, at the end of the class, last 15 minutes, we are going to focus on the doubts. I'll take all of your doubts, don't worry. ठीक है. I hope that is making sense. Would love to take Utkarsh ji and Ankit ji and Saurav, Mitra ji, all of you. I have some amazing questions lying around, trust me. Would love to take that, just at the end of the class, please. Doubts part is at the end of the class. Cool. Coming to the crux of today's session, right? It will be starting off with this. Again, I'm not a PPT guy, honestly, but I have just kept a few slides just to help us drive the entire session today. Okay, so it has very minimal text. It's going to be more of discussion, more of real-time talks, real-time communication that comes to my mind, and I can probably just add up things there, right? As the title says over here, the AI augmented engineer cracking placements in 2026, right? What is an AI augmented engineer? Sanjay, prompt engineer, AI engineer, ML engineer, सब कुछ सुना था. AI augmented engineer क्या होता है, right? So technically it's a terminology which is used for people who technically use artificial intelligence, or I would say AI tools for their daily activities. Now, this daily activity can be anything. Let's say probably in their personal work, in their personal projects, in learning some new technology or learning some new things, or probably preparing for something that they are doing in their day-to-day activity, right? So specifically, the agenda would be. Guys, is my voice clear? Yeah. Just a second. Yeah, I feel the voice is crystal clear here. I'm already having this live thing on my other system. I think the voice is crystal clear for me. People, you also please just make sure that just use a proper mic, or probably a proper speaker at your end, not mic, sorry, a proper speaker at your end, just to make sure कि आप लोगों को अच्छे से सुनाई दे. ठीक है. Okay, great. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड गाइस, मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, यहाँ पे बेसिक आइडिया होगा कि हम लोग कैसे AI टूल्स को यूज़ कर सकते हैं इन ऑर्डर टू हेल्प अस प्रिपेयर better for our interviews, or probably the role that we are targeting for, right? How artificial intelligence or AI tools specifically can help us learn things 10x faster. ठीक है, दैट्स द मेजर आइडिया ऑफ द एंटायर सेशन. आई होप ये एजेंडा सबको क्लियर है, हम क्या बात करने वाले हैं. ठीक है. Moving from syntax mastery to system architecture, right? That is the core. ये probably ये line का meaning आपको end of the session तक समझ आ जाएगा, right? Moving forward, the 2026 industry reality, ठीक है? Like honestly, the reality of the industry when it comes to how work is getting done, for any of the role that you see, probably for software engineering roles, or let's say if you are targeting, let's say any of the roles around it, front end engineer, back end engineer, or let's say DevOps engineer, or let's say even if you're targeting, let's say something like designer role, right? All of that roles that technically comes under some tech usage, है ना? Be it even content writing is also very heavily affected with AI tools and other different things that are used in the entire use case, entire work part of things, right? So the be it, let's say, the work part of the industry of any of the roles, or let's say the hiring part of the industry for any of the roles, have drastically changed from 2020 or 2021 to 2026. Let's say, for example, in 2021, people used to write like every piece of code, every character of code that you see where was written by hands, है ना. But abhi in 2026, starting from 2023 actually, but right now specifically in 2026, you see reports out there, articles out there which says that okay, IBM has claimed that they are writing 80% of the code, 90% of the code through AI. Let's say LinkedIn CEO recently claimed that they are writing 60% of their entire production code using artificial intelligence, right? So what is this will be actually decrypting that part ke yaar kya ho raha hai, what is really happening, and how is that drastically supposed to change the day to day activity for us like software engineers. इंडस्ट्री की रियलिटी बहुत सिंपल है यार, है ना. Any of the tasks that you see, which is basically the hard task that used to be for an engineer, be it let's say writing boilerplates for the code. Just imagine I want to just create a new repository, a new microservice, or let's say a new module inside my existing code base as an engineer in a company. तो पहले क्या होता था, we used to actually set up the entire repository, entire code base, entire module with the entire basic boilerplate, which is technically a very repetitive work, जो कि बहुत repetitive होता रहा. You technically write the same boilerplate 90% of the times, the same setup that you do, the same source folders that you create, the index files that you create, the env structures that you manage, the packages that you manage, है ना. That is basically boilerplate of the code, which was technically a very hard work. जो like for example engineers used to take let's say even 2 to 3 days to just set up the boilerplate, just set up the project structure, है ना. थिंग्स लाइक यूनिट टेस्टिंग भी बहुत ज़्यादा बहुत ज़्यादा लाइक हार्ड वर्क है फॉर इंजीनियर्स टू एक्चुअली राइट ऑल सॉर्ट्स ऑफ यूनिट टेस्ट केसेस एंड एज केसेस फॉर टेस्टिंग देयर कोड, है ना. दिस इज ऑल रेफर टू एज हार्ड वर्क फॉर इंजीनियर्स, जहाँ पे you have to literally put in good amount of hours to write that pieces of code, which is very normal, and you not learn something out of it. ये feature का part नहीं है, but इट इज़ पार्ट ऑफ लेट्स से योर एंटायर प्रोजेक्ट, जहाँ पे आप कोई नया फीचर बनाते हो, आपको नया टेस्ट केस लिखना पड़ता है, आपको बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर क्रिएट करना पड़ता है, आपको डॉक्यूमेंटेशन लिखना पड़ता है, राइट. सो टेक्निकली ऑल दिस हार्ड वर्क्स is actually being replaced and automated by AI tools. As the term says over here, zero cost tasks like boilerplate creation, unit testing, documentation, ये सारे ना बहुत हार्ड टास्क थे, और यहाँ पे engineers like specifically SD ones used to take probably 4 days, weeks to actually do this particular task. And now all these tasks is actually being automated. So technically whatever an SD1 would do, let's say in 2020, 2021, 2022, is actually being automated by AI tools, highly automated by AI tools. And this is a red sign, you know, for especially for beginners, or I would say junior developers, जिनको लगता है कि यार writing this basic stuff, boilerplate creation, API structure बनाने से मैं engineer बन जाऊँगा, right? 2021 में it was true, अभी it is not true. You have to rise above that. In today's world, guys, writing code is not a skill anymore, है ना. पहले ये वाव फैक्टर होता था कि यार ओके, ही इज एबल टू राइट कोड, ही इज एबल टू क्रिएट द फीचर, ही इज एबल टू क्रिएट एन एपीआई, ही इज एबल टू परफॉर्म रियल टाइम कम्युनिकेशन बिटवीन कपल ऑफ सर्विसेज, ही इज एबल टू मैनेज द डेटाबेस. नो, है ना. दैट वाज अ वेरी वाव फैक्टर फॉर engineers in previous couple of years, or let's say 2020, 2021, 2022 also. But now most of that part, writing code, is not a skill anymore. Generation of code is not a skill anymore. Any good AI tool, even free versions of a lot of AI tools, can generate good amount of code. What is important is the verification of the code. Code can be written by anyone, but are you skilled enough to verify the code that you have written? Are you skilled enough to understand the overall architecture of the system? Are you skilled enough to understand the business use case, the long-term scalability of the system, the reliability of the system, the robustness of the system? Are you following best practices? Do you understand how services should communicate, or let's say any type of communication that happens between services, how it should happen in a scalable large system which is handling millions and millions of requests at the same time, right? So you you have to build the skills not just to write the code, but to actually understand systems when they scale. having that idea of how systems really work on load, how systems would handle millions of users, how systems would handle a huge amount of data that is being created every hour that when your system is live, right? So engineers who are able to understand the zoomed out version of the entire system are able to verify कि अच्छा ये code AI ने लिखा है, but probably this will not really work straight away. I need to modulate it. मुझे इसे इस तरीके से modulate करना पड़ेगा. I have to probably structureize this. I need to use this particular code pattern. I have to use this particular design pattern. I have to create this connection. How many iterations would it take? Understanding the complexity of how the flow of the API would really work, communicate with the database, communicate with other microservices. ये चीज़ें ज़्यादा important है rather than writing code. A lot of juniors come to me and they say, "Oh Sanjay, AI can technically write a lot of code. They can do most of the work that an SD1, SD2 can do. Then where do we stand? How do we really, save our jobs?" It's not about fighting towards AI, but it is actually using AI in your day-to-day activity. Be a builder, be an orchestrator. Don't be a laborer who literally writes code. Just imagine 2020 2021 जहाँ पे लोग literally हर एक line of code खुद लिखते थे, right? But now it is not that anymore. That's basically very laborious work, है ना? But हाँ, तभी बहुत ज़्यादा पैसे मिलते थे. There was no AI tool in 2021, so people used to just flaunt off कि हाँ ये code लिखने से मुझे like I'm getting the importance of being a software engineer. I'm getting this much money. I'm getting this much, importance. But now writing code is not a skill anymore. It's about understanding the system. And this is where product engineers as a term really come in the picture. Companies are not really hiring software engineers anymore. They are hiring product engineers. And what do I mean by product engineers? Product engineers are the ones who really understand the system in and out, understand the business use case in and out, understand the system in a zoomed out version. ठीक है, पहले सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स हायर होते थे जस्ट बाय अंडरस्टैंडिंग, ओके यू नो Node.js, amazing, you know MySQL, you know MongoDB, you know Kafka, you know let's say some Spring Boot, some particular tech stack. If you know, bro, you're hired. Amazing, great. But now it's not that anymore. It's about understanding the system as a whole, understanding software engineering as a whole, understanding system design to its core, understanding data structures, algorithms to its core. DSA पहले भी था, अभी भी है और हमेशा रहेगा. The only difference between पहले वाला DSA and अभी वाला DSA is more about problem solving rather than just memorizing a few 100, 200, 300 popular DSA questions on lead code. It's not going to be the same anymore, guys. Companies still want the same thing, same skills: data structures and algorithms, system design, backend architecture understanding, API understanding, right? Having the ability to understand core things like operating system concepts, ऑब्जेक्ट ओरिएंटेड प्रोग्रामिंग कॉन्सेप्ट्स, कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क कॉन्सेप्ट्स, चीज़ें सारी यही हैं. बट पहले इट वॉज मोर लाइक यू मेमोराइजिंग थिंग्स इन टर्म्स ऑफ 200-300 DSA क्वेश्चन कर लिया, बढ़िया है. Node.js का बेसिक CRUD APIs बना ली, बेसिक डेटाबेस कनेक्शन कर लिया, बहुत बढ़िया है ना. पेमेंट गेटवे इंटीग्रेट कर दिया, बहुत बढ़िया, दैट्स इट. बट इट्स नॉट द सेम एनी मोर. Previously, people used to prepare for engineers who technically are users of Node.js, MySQL, etc. But now people actually train for product engineers who actually understand the system as a software engineer. You have to be a software engineer, not a Node.js developer, or let's say a Python developer or a Java developer. Okay? Software engineering is a whole zoomed out version of engineering, people who understand the system end to end, not just one particular language specifically, right? Moving forward, AI across SDLC, right? SDLC technically involves everything from front-end engineers to back-end engineers to DevOps engineers to someone who is, let's say, a designer who designs, UI UX part of things. So AI technically has affected everyone in this particular flow that you see. For example, in software engineering, AI handles the entire code implementation part of things. You give a correct prompt, you give a correct context, it can help you write a lot of code. You don't have to write the code by your hand anymore. I see a lot of engineers, a lot of colleagues of mine, most of the people generally have an agent, a prompt agent with on which they technically chat, they communicate, they review code, and very less people who still actually write code more than 30 to 40%. I've never, like, I've not seen much engineers who are actually working as professionals, SD2, SD3, writing more than 30% of the code by themselves. Most of the code is being written by AI tools, है ना. इसका मतलब क्या है संजय, हमें कोड नहीं सीखना चाहिए? Should I just stop learning the Node.js series I'm following, or let's say should I stop learning Java, should I stop learning Spring Boot, should I stop learning databases? No, that doesn't mean the same thing. ठीक है. The skills are same. You still need to understand one language, Java, Python, JavaScript, whatever. You still need to understand data structures, algorithms at its core. You still need to understand system design. You still need to understand probably database connections, how can you scale database for millions of users and so on. You still need to have that DevOps understanding at the core part of things, right? But it is more about understanding it in a zoomed out version of how what is good, what is not good, है ना. पहले engineers used to just learn one part of things. Okay, you want to create this particular structure, this is the flow of it, है ना. People were not able to understand, especially engineers or freshers. उनको they did not think about scale, they did not think about right approach, wrong approach, design patterns. Just imagine if you are if you're an engineer, before 2 years SD once did not even talk about system design. They did not even talk about high level design, low level design in 2023 also, है ना. They used to be like, okay, that is for SD2s, that is for SD3s, not for us. But no more, guys, it's not the same anymore. Even SD1s are asked LLD things, HLD things, system design things in general, to understand their ability, है ना. So it's about, are you able to understand the why part of things? Is this particular structure, is this particular flow right for your business, technically the project that you're creating? The architectural decisions is very much important than actually how the code is implemented, है ना. But इसका मतलब ये नहीं है code implementation पता ही नहीं होना चाहिए. Obviously you need to know about code implementation in order to understand what is right, what is wrong, what is the right way, what is the wrong way, what is the right flow, what is the wrong flow. ठीक है, you need to still have that core understanding, or I would say even better understanding होना ज़रूरी है. Because now you're not just writing the code, you are making decision कि क्या ये सही तरीका है. Like challenging AI that the AI written code is not right is very difficult. You have to know the concept well in order to challenge or in order to understand कि AI written code जो है वो सही भी है कि नहीं. ठीक है. DevOps excellency. Let's say, for example, if you are a DevOps guy, you are probably learning anything around DevOps or anything around hosting things and everything. Technically, all of that is also affected. है ना? A lot of automation has came into the picture. A lot of tools, a lot of self-healing tools have came in the market. So let me just check. I was looking out a particular tool. Let me just quickly define a few names. Very interesting thing I was looking at recently. There's something called as harness. ठीक है, और there's something called as harness. It's a very interesting tool. It's an AI tool. Just do read about it. It's very interesting, है ना. This is one of the tools which technically is a very interesting tool. मतलब it technically handles anything and everything that is part of your hosted environment. Just imagine कि मैं अभी एक software engineer हूँ, like people who can relate. And let's say, for example, in my current company, let's say at Policy Bazaar, some feature that I have built in car insurance is breaking. Some feature is breaking, right? So what happens? Generally, some notifications might be clicking on, let's say, Slack or Google Chat, whichever integration we have. We technically go there, we understand the error messages and everything, and we try to check our code, debug our code, resolve the error that there is, then probably test the code, review the code, then make it live, right? This is a normal flow that generally comes in the mind, right? But tools like this, Harness, for example, it does a lot of automation at this part. Just imagine something is breaking on a Friday evening, Saturday evening, or let's say a long weekend that there is for any company who has very minimal developers. Let's say उनकी एक startup है जिसमें बस 5-6 developers हैं, 2 soft backend engineers, and just imagine the production is breaking somewhere and the engineer is not available for some reason, right? Tools like this are very crazy. Just imagine at the back end, it does so much automation here. It automatically identifies where the error is coming. This particular tool, if you have integrated, automatically identifies where the error is coming, what is the source of the error, who has written this particular code. It identifies from the commits who has written this code, and it specifically goes and messages that particular developer, that particular person, that okay, on WhatsApp, on Slack, whatever it is, it messages that person, waits for a minute or so after a message if the developer replies back or solves this issue. Otherwise, it literally takes the number of the developer from the Slack or whatever your company uses, it calls the developer, and an AI agent in the backend says that okay, this is the issue that is coming, please resolve it, it is your commit. And let's say if the developer does not picks up the call, there is a hierarchy that, let's say, if the developer is not picking it, it goes and calls the manager of the developer. If the manager is not picking, it goes and calls the above respected person who is there in the hierarchy, right? And it also does a lot of automation. Rather than just pinging you guys and alerting you guys, it does a lot of automation. If you structurize it, it actually understands the issue, it actually resolves the issue by itself. It writes the test cases of the resolved code, it tests those test cases automatically, and it creates a PR. It actually creates a PR and it sends it to the concerned person, the SD2, SD3, who is responsible person, and the developer can actually accept the PR on their phone, literally on their phone, on WhatsApp, Slack, Discord, whatever the company uses. And that particular PR, once accepted, the AI agent in the backend literally makes that particular code live, reloads the server, and even tests it on the production environment. Do you understand the ability of AI these days? All the hard work that you can think of, understanding the error, understanding the solution out of it, coding the solution, writing test cases, making it live, on a weekend for an engineer would be so much challenge, right? But now AI tools like this are crazy. So this DevOps part of things is also being taken care of, so it's crazy really. Just go and read about this, read about Harness, read about something called as NX Cloud. It is pretty amazing. You will see some really crazy set of code that has been mentioned. Just go and read about it. It's really crazy. Something called as NX Cloud over here. It's pretty crazy. Just go and read about it. It's pretty amazing. Right? Coming to other part of things, let's say even if you're a designer, or let's say a UI UX developer, tools like Canva have great integration of AI tools in them. Some really amazing work going on there as well. Would definitely recommend everyone to just check out things around Figma and Canva as well. Moving forward to how should you really evolve, Sanjay? Matlab, if AI can do so much of the work, how should I as an engineer really evolve? Don't compete with the machines, and stop competing with the machines. That okay, I'll probably try to write better code than the machine. I will not use AI tools. How can an AI really write better code than me? Don't compete with the machines. I've really seen SD2, SD3 level people in some of the companies, or even my students, who technically try to take it on an ego that okay, I will not really use AI much. I will because I want to be a better developer. I cannot really stop coding. Don't compete. Don't oppose the AI part of things. Try to use it along with you. Try to evolve yourself along with it. You will definitely lose on the speed that AI works. What is the good part is that you technically use it as an assistant. I see two type of people. Either they use AI tools as a rival, as a competing entity, and they don't use it. and they're going to miss it for sure. They're going to lose for sure. I see the other set of people who are really using AI fully 100% as a master. Don't use AI as a master. Like, I've seen developers using AI tools for technically understanding the system, writing the code, understanding the code, everything. है ना? They do not really participate. They use AI as a master. They literally ask it to do each and everything. Don't do that, है ना? It's not a good part as well, है ना? Both our things are not good. Even if you oppose, it's not good. Even if you use it as a master, it's not good. What is a good thing? Use AI as an assistant, है ना? Think of it as, let's say, a very sharp, skilled assistant that you have, है ना? Ask it to do all the hard work. For example, you're creating a new feature. Ask AI tools to write the documentation things. Ask AI tools to probably create boilerplate of the code, boilerplate of the API, boilerplate of the database connection that you're doing, right? Ask AI tools to probably understand an existing system. Let's say, for example, you started working in a company right now. When in the initial 1 or 2 months, you fail as an engineer, you face a lot of challenges. Why? Because you are entering in a new company, a new organization. There is a lot of pre-written code जो already लिखा हुआ है ना. As an engineer, वो सारा कोड पढ़ना becomes very very difficult, है ना? समझना बहुत difficult है. यूज़ AI देयर कि यार ये एग्जिस्टिंग, लेट्स से आप स्टूडेंट्स हो, आपको किसी और ओपन सोर्स प्रोजेक्ट को समझना है, किसी और ओपन सोर्स डेवलपर का रेपोजिटरी समझना है, या फिर आपके फ्रेंड का प्रोजेक्ट समझना है, या से आप इंटर्नशिप कर रहे हो, आपको अपनी कंपनी का प्रोजेक्ट समझना है, कंपनी का फीचर समझना है. Try to use AI there to understand things rather than really using it as a master. हार्ड काम करवाओ उससे, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन लिखवाओ, एपीआई स्ट्रक्चर बनवाओ, डेटाबेस कनेक्शन बनवाओ. सर ये बहुत हार्ड काम है. हार्ड एज इन कि वो रिपीटेटिव काम है. हार्ड मतलब टेक्निकली हार्ड नहीं है, मेहनत वाला काम है. मेहनत वाला काम खुद नहीं करना, दैट इज़ द इंटेलिजेंट डेवलपर. जो भी काम रिपीटेटिव है कि यार प्रोजेक्ट स्ट्रक्चर बनाना है, एपीआई स्ट्रक्चर, सेम एपीआई स्ट्रक्चर बनेगा, सेम रिक्वेस्ट सेम रिस्पॉन्स बनेगा, सेम यूटिल फाइल्स बनेंगी, सेम चीज़ें जो आप करते हो, जो रिपीटेटिव काम है, आस्क एआई टूल्स टू डू इट. कोड लिखने में बहुत रिपीटेटिव काम होता है. जस्ट इमेजिन योर मैनेजर सेज कि यार मुझे अभी न्यू सर्विस बनानी है, लेट्स क्रिएट अ न्यू मॉड्यूल इन द एग्जिस्टिंग सर्विस, और लेट्स क्रिएट अ न्यू सर्विस ऑल टुगेदर. इट्स अ लॉट ऑफ वर्क. यू सेट अप द एंटायर प्रोजेक्ट. एक किसी भी छोटी कंपनी में अगर काम करते हो आप, तो वहाँ पे बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती है यू फॉर जस्ट सेटिंग अप द प्रोजेक्ट. आस्क दैट हार्ड थिंग्स टू बी डन बाय द AI. डोंट डू इट योरसेल्फ. टेस्ट केसेस लिखना, that's a difficult part. It's not a very easy part. Engineers probably used to take, let's say, weeks just to write test cases, just to write good edge cases, good test cases, है ना? Automation, अगर आपको यूनिट टेस्टिंग के लिए लिखना है, इंटीग्रेशन टेस्टिंग के लिए लिखना है, एंड टू एंड फ्रंट एंड बैक एंड मॉड्यूल टेस्टिंग के लिए कुछ केसेस लिखने हैं, इट इज़ अ गुड टाइम कंज्यूमिंग टास्क. इट्स नॉट एन ईजी टास्क. ये सारी चीज़ें AI से करवाइए आप, राइट? दिस इज ऑल दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू अंडरस्टैंड. बी अ T-shaped engineer. संजय, T-shaped engineer क्या होता है? एज आई टोल्ड यू कि यार this does not mean that if AI can do most of the work, this does not mean that you should technically use it as a master. Use it as an assistant. और आप असिस्टेंट की तरह कब यूज़ कर पाओगे? जब आपको खुद को नॉलेज है कि सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियरिंग एक्चुअली होती कैसे है. The skills of data structures algorithm, जो probably 2018 से, there's a tsunami of resources, tsunami of people saying on the social media, YouTube, everywhere, that DSA can probably help you get your job. It is the only thing that is required for MNCs, for FANG companies, MANG companies. You just need to be a very good problem solver. Back-end thing, system design doesn't matter. For a SD1, things are gone. ठीक है. Few things are right, few things are wrong in current state. क्या चीज़ें right है? Definitely yes. DSA is still the core part of software engineering, the core part of interviews even till date. You still have to be very good at DSA. But just DSA is not enough. You need to have understanding of backend system, backend architecture, databases at a scale. You need to have understanding of system design, writing better code, what design pattern should you use, low level design, what system looks like in a high level understanding, how microservices work, how database, which database to use when, how to structure your schemas, है ना. You need to understand the system in a zoomed out version. अभी भी concept same होंगे. You still need to know object oriented programming, oops principles, ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम प्रिंसिपल्स, कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क प्रिंसिपल्स, जो थियोरेटिकल चीज़ें आप अभी तक पढ़ते रहते वो अभी भी इंपॉर्टेंट है, और आई वुड से इवन ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट है. डीएसए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, अभी भी इंपॉर्टेंट है. सिस्टम डिज़ाइन वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट है ना. ये सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स एट द बेस आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, स्टिल वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. उसके ऊपर कम्स योर पार्ट ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग हाउ कैन यू यूज AI tools to technically learn it if you're a student, or probably use it if you're a working professional. Let's say for example आप एक student हो, है ना, using AI to learn this new skills. Let's say for example, let's say Sanjay, I'm a first year student. मैंने अभी बस एक जावा एज अ लैंग्वेज सीखी है मेरे कॉलेज में. नाउ कॉलेज में इतना चीज़ें कवर नहीं करते डेप्थ में. लेट्स से आई वांट टू लर्न सम न्यू कॉन्सेप्ट इन जावा, यूज़ AI देयर, है ना. गॉन आर द टाइम्स जहाँ पे आप एक नए कॉन्सेप्ट को सीखने के लिए डॉक्यूमेंटेशन पढ़ोगे, वो इतने बड़े बड़े डॉक्यूमेंटेशन पढ़ोगे, या फिर आर्टिकल्स ढूंढोगे, कौन सा आर्टिकल अच्छा है, देयर इज़ एन एक्स आर्टिकल विच इज़ वेरी गुड, बट ये वाले प्लेटफॉर्म ने ये पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक का आर्टिकल अभी तक पब्लिश नहीं किया है. गॉन आर दोज डेज. नाउ use AI tools, use GPT, use Gemini, use Claude to understand things. Just imagine मुझे कोई एक पर्टिकुलर कॉन्सेप्ट पढ़ना है जावा का. लेट्स से मुझे कोई भी ऐसे लेट्स से एडवांस कॉन्सेप्ट काफका पढ़ना है मुझे, राइट. अंडरस्टैंड काफका just using any AI tool, your favorite LLM that you have, Gemini, Claude, GPT, whatever. If I want to learn something, there is no boundary. Trust me, you don't need to go to any of the articles, any of the documentation, any of the YouTube video to just learn a new concept in these days. Try to use AI tools to learn things a lot more faster. You can get a lot of gist, a lot of practical understanding of anything a lot more faster. ठीक है. एज एन इंजन अगर मैं एक स्टूडेंट हूँ, लेट्स से, ठीक है, अगर मैं एक स्टूडेंट हूँ एंड लेट्स से आई वांट टू लर्न अबाउट काफका, व्हाट वुड आई से? Explain me Kafka very nicely, where it is used, what problem does it solves, which companies use it, how they use it, give me a practical understanding, practical example of it. ये बेसिक चीज़ें समझनी होगी मुझे. फिर उसके बाद लेट्स से how can I use it in my existing Node.js project, how can I use it in my e-commerce project which I already have, the backend project which I already have, है ना. तो ये सारी चीज़ें अगर आपको पहले किसी को पूछना होता है, यू वुड नीड लेट्स से a mentor, probably a senior from your college, or let's say a very good person who knows a lot of skills, है ना, or probably you go and take courses over the internet, right. But now it is not that required. You technically can learn a lot of things just by using the LLMs, the free version of LLMs. आपको कुछ नया पेड वर्जन भी नहीं लेना honestly, ठीक है. So use AI tools to learn things, to make your tasks faster, become a 10x developer, a 10x learner. Again, we'll talk about that further, ठीक है. Again, coming to 10x developer or learning 10x faster, है ना. This is the gist, this is the main part, the main agenda of today's session, ठीक है. Learning things using AI is really 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 powerful, ठीक है. Recursive learning, use AI to systematically identify the knowledge gaps, the issues that you have in terms of the learning that is required, in terms of let's say the problem you are facing in your existing project, the error that you are identifying in your code, be it let's say a DSA का code. Let's say you want to understand कि यार ये मेरा जो code लिखा हुआ है, why it is giving me TLE, why it is giving me an error on this particular case, which edge case is breaking in this particular code, है ना. पहले अगर आपको ये करना होता है, यू टेक्निकली गो टू लीड कोड के डिस्कशन फोरम में, फिर भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है कौन सा एज केस ब्रेक हो रहा है, यू टॉक टू सम डेवलपर, सम अदर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्वर, योर सीनियर. जस्ट इमेजिन 2021. But now you take your code, you give it to GPT, you give it to Gemini, and technically just say, okay, what is the problem in my code? It is going to point out the exact problem in your code very, very precisely. Let's say for example, you can ask that what is the exact edge case that is breaking in this particular code. Let's say if your code is completely working fine, you can ask for review, that okay, how can I make my code better? Right now my code is, and using n square, can I reduce it? What concept I can use over here? Can you pinpoint issues in my code, and all those different things. Okay. So again, that is the gist, that is the main part. You should use AI tools to actually understand your learning, solve your problems. DSA was one example. Let's say for example, आप एक backend project बना रहे हो. Let's say you're creating a backend project, and let's say probably you're using JavaScript, Node.js to probably build something. And let's say you are stuck at some problem. That can be anything: authentication related problem, let's say security related problem, let's say something is breaking in your code, some package related problem, some dependency related problems. These are बहुत general issues जहाँ पे students फंसते हैं. ठीक है, तो मैं यही examples ले रहा हूँ. So you can use AI tools there, and to just understand, okay, let's say for example I'm using JW token to store for authentication of the user. Can you please check my current authentication pattern? What can I do better here? What is the security lags that I might have in my particular current project? Are there any security breakages? Are there any deprecated packages I am using? All those things which technically required a DevOps guy to understand, or let's say a security guy to understand, now can be handled by AI tools very very amazingly, है ना. आपको नहीं ज़रूरत है किसी बहुत ही high scaled. Okay, am I audible, guys? Guys, am I audible to everyone? Can I get an acknowledgement, please? People, am I audible to all of you? Yeah. Great, thank you, thank you. Just be a little active in terms of when I'm not audible. Just please stop me and let me know, ठीक है ना, that if I'm not audible, है ना, in any of the states. Hopefully I'm clearly audible. My screen is visible, and everything is good, right? I'll come to that. Music by RSK, a very weird name, bro. But I'll definitely come to that. है ना, बहुत बहुत common question है. I'm not sure ये question होना नहीं चाहिए यार अभी. But still, I'll come to that. I'll definitely answer that. है ना. Just allow me some time. In the last 15 minutes, I'll take all of your doubts. है ना. Cool. Coming to the learning part, I was saying, AI can be used learning things in your entire journey. Let's say आप DSA के लिए प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो, जैसे मैं आपको कहा, टू अंडरस्टैंड न्यू कॉन्सेप्ट. लेट्स से मुझे ग्राफ का एक नया कॉन्सेप्ट समझना है. लेट्स से मैं एक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व कर रहा हूँ, एंड लेट्स से वहाँ पे कोई एज केस फेल हो रहा है. लेट्स से मुझे समझना है कि क्या मेरा कोड ऑप्टिमाइज्ड है कि नहीं. चलो, मेरा कोड सबमिट तो हो रहा है लीड कोड पे, बट लेट्स से मेरा कोड ऑप्टिमाइज्ड है क्या? इससे बेटर वर्जन, क्या इससे बेटर कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी का कोड लिख सकता हूँ मैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ टाइम स्पेस, है ना. यूज़ AI देयर, use AI there, please, in DSA learning. It can help you understand your code, review your code, help you understand कौन सा edge case आपका code का fail हो रहा है, right? All of that can be done honestly in very very few seconds. You can technically come out of that problem. I still remember जब मैं 2018 में, जब मैं कॉलेज में था, 2019 में अपने कॉलेज में था, आई स्टिल रिमेंबर देयर वर नो AI टूल्स, नथिंग, है ना. आई वाज लाइक ग्राइंडिंग DSA फॉर माई प्लेसमेंट्स. आई स्टिल रिमेंबर जब लेट्स से कोई कॉन्टेस्ट होता था, कुछ होता था, एंड लेट्स से थर्ड क्वेश्चन, फोर्थ क्वेश्चन या फिफ्थ क्वेश्चन लेट्स से कोई सॉल्व नहीं होता था मुझसे. I used to stay there for hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, just to understand, go through the discussion forums after the contest to understand कौन सा टेस्ट केस फेल हो रहा है. आई यूज टू वेट फॉर द सोल्यूशन टू कम आउट आफ्टर कॉन्टेस्ट के, यार कोई बता दे मुझे मेरा कौन सा एच केस फेल हो रहा है. So much issues when I as a student was studying and learning DSA. But now, bro, you have GPT, you have Gemini, you have such amazing AI tools free. Take your code, take your question, go there, ask it to review the code, ask it to understand what edge case is failing. ask it to review your code. How can you make it more optimized? What part is breaking, what part can be corrected? In a couple of seconds you can technically get a review of your code, you can get out of that issue. Same thing when I was, let's say, in 2018 roughly, I was learning Android. I still remember this. And this was a time जहाँ पे Android के बहुत सारे courses available नहीं थे on the internet. And I still remember I was learning it from YouTube videos and some Udemy and other things randomly. And I was a very frugal person. I used to just learn from free resources, and which is a good part. But at that time resources इतने नहीं थे, मतलब there were no much resources about Android and other things over the internet. थे तो बहुत restricted थे. For example, कुछ let's say कहीं आप फंस गए हो कोई series देखते देखते, and let's say you are facing some error, no one used to technically be there to help you get out of that error. तो मैं अपने seniors को बोलता था कि यार please help me get out this error, what error am I facing, can you help me resolve this issue and so on. I still remember तब मेरे seniors की ना exam चल रही थी, final year exams चल रही थी, and for almost 4 days, 3 to 4 days, I was stuck with the same problem, literally same problem. I still remember, so frustrating it was. Not really the entire day, but I used to code 3 hours after college, 2 hours before college. So I still remember I was literally stuck for 3 to 4 days with the same problem. Then my seniors, once the exams completed, they helped me on the next day. But trust me, if AI tools were available then, I used to literally save so much time. Just one example. But even for you guys always need help in your learning process, in your learning journey. है ना? You don't need seniors anymore. You don't need those people who are working in Amazon, Microsoft anymore as your friends. Just to help you for resources, for issues, for problem solving, for errors. You don't need them. All of that can be technically handled by AI tools if you use them well, है ना? Concept mapping, है ना? कोई भी नया concept सीखना है, it's a learning mind, trust me. अगर आप AI tools को अच्छे से यूज़ करोगे, trust me, you can learn new concepts amazingly. एक simple example है, अगर मुझे काफका सीखना है, ठीक है, ask AI tools to explain any of the concepts around Kafka, any of the concepts around it in a very real life example. For example, Kafka, how it is related to postal services. People who know Kafka know मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, ठीक है. But ऐसे रियल लाइफ एग्जाम्पल से आप सीख सकते हो कि यार अगेन बहुत सिंपल चीज़ लाइक व्हाट इज़ एन API, हाउ व्हाट इज़ अ रिक्वेस्ट रिस्पॉन्स साइकिल से लेके बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स चीज़ लाइक हाउ काफका रियली वर्क्स इंटरनली, और लेट्स से हाउ Google search works internally. How is Google able to solve millions and millions of requests per second every single day, every single minute? है ना? Learning those complex concepts also you can use AI tools amazingly. ठीक है. Talking about people who are, let's say, on the verge of, let's say, interviews and everything, how can it help you there? Try to use AI tools to actually take mock interviews. There are multiple platforms. Actually, there is I don't remember the names, but let me just quickly check. Yeah, there's something called as final round AI. For example, just one example. There are multiple examples. बट एक अच्छा टूल है फाइनल राउंड AI, है ना? बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग टूल है, ठीक है. इट्स अ टूल विच अलाउज यू टू टेक योर इंटरव्यू, ठीक है. इट हेल्प्स यू टू परफॉर्म मॉक इंटरव्यूज इन रियल टाइम, जहाँ पे एक AI असिस्टेंट होगा, लिटरली लाइक दिस यू कैन सी देयर विल बी एन AI असिस्टेंट, लिटरली एन इंटरव्यूअर, एंड यू टेक्निकली doing a real time interview. Just imagine real time interview, like most of you might have already heard about this, but ये जो tools हैं, tools like this can really help you to prepare for your interview. I have seen students जो पहली बार interview में जाते हैं and the interviewer asks them to turn on their camera and they are stuck because practice नहीं किया interview का, because they are not familiar of how an interview generally works. How would you really explain your solutions? आता सब कुछ है, you know the concepts, आपको पूरा कंसेप्ट पता है, आपको पूरा वो डेटा DSA का क्वेश्चन अच्छे से आता है, बट एक्सप्लेनेशन में संजय आई गेट स्टक, आई गेट फ्रीज्ड, है ना? ऑल ऑफ दैट टाइम्स आर गॉन. प्रैक्टिस द थिंग in a very real time scenario. Tools like final round AI can literally help you practice mock interviews and everything in a very real time scenario, like a very real interview like scenario, in a very good manner, है ना? तो अगेन यूज ए आई लाइक दिस, जहाँ पे आप इंटरव्यू प्रिपेयर कर रहे हो, है ना, यूज ए आई टूल्स लाइक फॉर योर रिज्यूम रिव्यू. लेट्स से फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई क्रिएटेड माई रिज्यूम, मैं ए आई टूल को दे दूंगा, यार प्लीज हेल्प मी रिव्यू माई रिज्यूम एज अ लेट्स से engineering manager of a Google, of a company like Google, है ना. So it will help you give points कि आपके resume में क्या क्या issues है, क्या correct कर सकते हो आप, है ना, all those things. This mock interview again real time करना है, real time कर सकते हो. For example like this, अगर आपको एक question answer scenario सोचना है that okay you want to just come chat with GPT Gemini for a interview like scenario where it asks question, you give your answer, it gives you feedback, है ना. तो ऐसे use करो AI tools को in your learning, है ना. It's going to be crazy learning, trust me, है ना. One of the very simple examples would be just ask it to review your resume and probably critique your resume like a Google engineer for example, है ना. Moving forward कि यार संजय AI tools को like which AI tools should be used where. For example Perplexity AI है, it is very good at search. अगर आपको कुछ रिसर्च करना है, अगर आपको कुछ लेट्स से पार्ट नया सीखना है, नया कंटेंट पढ़ना है, whatever new technology it is extremely nice. Perplexity is honestly you can replace it with Google. honestly आप इसको Google से replace कर सकते हो, starting from the most basic job to the most nicest or advanced things like learning some new concepts. It can help you search the latest content, the latest part of things very easily, latest documentation updates, latest threads of let's say GitHub or whatever platform you search something on, you know. It helps you search the content, the most updated content, the most comprehensive content amazingly. अपना editor change करो. If you're probably using VS Code still, stop using it. Use Cursor, use Claude Code. Free version use करो, don't go on the paid version. Free versions हैं which do amazing job, ठीक है. So use AI tools like Cursor, Claude Code for writing code. It helps you write very interesting set of things. आपके existing code में आप काम कर रहे हो, किसी existing repository पे काम कर रहे हो, it can help you optimize that. अगर आप let's say एक नया प्रोजेक्ट बना रहे हो, इट कैन हेल्प यू सेट अप योर प्रोजेक्ट, इट कैन हेल्प यू डू राइट द बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस अमेजिंगली, ट्रस्ट मी. सो चेंज योर आईडी, है ना. इट विल हेल्प यू मेक अ 10x developer like a lot faster than you would write code on VS Code. Even VS Code these days has a lot of AI capabilities, some really good set of AI capabilities there. But again, Cursor free version is way better than VS Code का free version और VS Code का paid version भी, ठीक है. So try to use that. Use Notebook LM again for learning, for documentation, for article management, for anything that you are generally doing in terms of notes. अगर आप अभी भी notes use कर रहे हो, don't use it, है ना. use textbook, your Notebook LM, again it's amazing, trust me, ठीक है. So use these tools in your daily activities guys, trust me, it's going to be very helpful. Moving forward, as I told you, use AI as an assistant. उसको as a master use मत करो, ठीक है. Use it as an assistant, like the best assistant, the most productive, the most minded assistant that you have, है ना. But people use it literally as a master, है ना. For example, they just give random prompts, go and create a React application for me, है ना. It just create like Cursor takes that prompt, Cursor works on that prompt, any of the AI tool works on that prompt, that's not an issue. But it creates a random project structure, a random architecture of the project with no context. A better prompt would be something like asking AI to help you solve a specific issue, a specific problem, a specific error that you are having in your code. Ask it to understand कि यार ये जो error आ रहा है मुझे, what is the issue, what part is breaking, help me resolve that. Let's say for example you are creating a new API or a new structure altogether. Ask it for best practices that you have, that you can manage. For example, let's say you want to create a new API. Ask it for best flows or best design pattern that you can use over here. Ask it to write better test cases, and understand edge case scenarios, and so on. Improve your existing flow using AI. Don't give the entire flow to AI to get it done, है ना. So use it as a assistant, not as a master. That is the main idea. Again, as I've already told you here, na, AI tools can be used in the entire journey of your placement, है ना? If you are, even if you are preparing as an engineer, preparing for new things, learn new things using AI tools. If you already know concepts, अगर मुझे backend engineering आती है, front end engineering आती है, Sanjay, I'm creating projects now, I'm probably building something. Use AI tools there, use Cursor there, use different models, Opus, or let's say you have GPT models, you have Gemini models, amazing models available out there. Use the agentic behavior of it for writing a lot of code. Use the planning behavior of it to plan some code. Use the ask behavior of it to ask issues of your code, and so on, so on. Okay. If you are, let's say, a working professional already, this flow can be amazing. Use AI to become a 5x developer. Okay, very very important. Companies nowadays want developers who can do the job 5x faster, है ना? ऐसा नहीं होगा कि डेवलपर्स की ज़रूरत नहीं है अभी. द डेवलपर्स हु कैन डू द सेम वर्क 5x फास्टर, 5x बेटर आर समवन हु आर रिक्वायर्ड. और कैसे होगा? You cannot become 5x faster by yourself. But using AI, incorporating AI in your daily work, your daily activities, it is achievable. Trust me, you can be a very very good developer, or I would say a very very fast developer. Any things that you want to learn or let's say build, it's definitely possible, guys. Okay. For other things as well, let's say for anything around research, let's say for example you're applying for new jobs, LinkedIn research करना है कुछ, let's say interview preparation के लिए mock interviews करना है, all of that is definitely possible. For example Gemini का एक live feature है, chat GPT का एक voice feature है. Use that for real time communication, real time preparation of your interviews. It's going to be definitely helpful, trust me. ठीक है. Before really moving forward, I would definitely want to take a little practical gist of things, guys, है ना? थोड़ा सा practically समझते हैं अपन कि where can I use AI tools or how effective AI tools are, right? बस बातें करने से समझ नहीं आएगा. Let's actually have a little practical deep dive, है ना? A lot of people, I'm not sure how many of you use Cursor in your daily activities, but just to give you a quick gist of how powerful is Cursor, or let's say how can you really get your work done, or how generally engineers get their work done in let's say in their daily activities these days. So एक बहुत simple सा idea लेंगे. I'll quickly just create a simple project. I'll ask AI tools to help me create a simple Node.js repository, a backend repository, create the entire boilerplate, and help me write basic CRUD application, a basic e-commerce CRUD application for product management, let's say, है ना? Something like that. So let's just get started and let's just do it, है ना? So what I'm going to do is, let's say for example I open Cursor. Let me open Cursor here. ठीक है. I've opened Cursor over here. Let me quickly open a project that I have already created on desktop, on admin, on masterclasses. On today's day 29th, I've created this project demo. I have just a folder, nothing else, है ना? सिर्फ folder बनाया, कुछ भी नहीं किया. I'll just quickly open this particular folder. The folder right now is empty. ठीक है, just to show you, मेरा यहाँ पे folder जो आपको दिख रहा है, it is completely empty, है ना? There is nothing inside it, है ना? What I'm going to do is I'm going to ask an agent to actually create a very simple Node.js backend application, which will create a very simple, it'll do npm init things, it'll set up the app.js file, it'll set up the env file, some basic things it's going to do, create the package.json file, everything it's going to do. And I'll ask it to do a basic, like create a basic CRUD application for my let's say product management in an e-commerce application. Okay, so I'll just give basic prompts here. Okay, so I'm using the agentic behavior. You can see I was talking about this now, agentic behavior, planning behavior, debugging behavior, asking behavior, right? I'm using the agentic behavior, which basically lets the agent do most of the code writing and everything. Okay, so I'll simply say help me create a Node.js backend project in this repo, set up express environment inside this, set up express environment, and help me write basic CRUD API for product management in this e-commerce project. ठीक है, I want users to help me add new products. ठीक है, I want to allow users to add the new products. Let's say fetch, I would say fetch or search products. ठीक है, let's say I want to allow users to probably update the products. I also want to allow them to probably delete the products as well. ठीक है, ठीक है, some basic stuff, ठीक है. Also I would ask it to probably do a MongoDB database connection with my locally running Mongo environment, है ना. So I'll probably just store the entire data inside MongoDB. I also ask it to connect, like make a database connection with MongoDB locally running in my system. ठीक है, if I just give it this simple prompt, है ना, it's running on agent mode, it's using some Opus as a model. You can use any of the models. I'll not go into models as of now. I'll use Opus, the basic one, and if I just go and give it a prompt, you can do it. You can see it's starting to get the work done. You can see it has thought for a second. It will start by actually registering this particular repository as a Node.js repository. You can see it initializes Node.js project with package.json. Again, internally क्या करता है ये npm init करेगा. You can see over here it does what, npm init to initialize the repository as a Node.js repository. After that, it is going to start setting up my project structure. Source folder बना दिया, .env फाइल बनाई, git ignore फाइल बनाई, package.json फाइल बनाई. ये सारा स्टैटिक काम है, इसमें कुछ इंजीनियरिंग नहीं जा रही है. सेम .env फाइल बनेगी, git ignore फाइल बनेगी, package.json फाइल बनेगी. जस्ट लाइक इवन इफ यूर अ बैकएंड इंजीनियर, आपने कोई भी प्रोजेक्ट बनाया, आपको पता होगा ये बहुत बेसिक चीज़ें हैं. सोर्स फोल्डर बनाना, ये वो बहुत बेसिक चीज़ें हैं, राइट. तो ये रिपीटेटिव काम है. ये सारा काम अगर आप एज एन इंजीनियर करोगे, यू विल टेक प्रॉब्ली 3 days, लाइक नॉट इवन 3 days, 2 days एटलीस्ट. ठीक है, टू गेट दिस एंटायर सेटअप डन विथ MongoDB setup, with basic CRUD APIs about products, or let's say user management. And this thing, it will minimum take two days for an SD1 to set up the entire project, database connection, schema creation, everything. And you can see this is what is something that can be automated by AI tools, है ना. You can see it has initialized the project, it has structured the entire project, MongoDB connection पूरा कर दिया, स्कीमा बना दिया, CRUD APIs बना दी, मेन ऐप का एंड पॉइंट डाल दिया, .env फाइल, .git ignore फाइल, डिपेंडेंसी मैनेजमेंट, सब कुछ कर दिया इसने. एंड इफ यू अंडरस्टैंड, अगेन दिस इज द गुड पार्ट. Now your part starts as an engineer to review what it has done. Acha, it has created a server.js file. What if you don't want a server.js file? Let's say you want a separate app.js file managing the application layer, a server.js file which is managing the server layer. You can change that. That is your call. That is your part as a developer. कि आपकी requirement क्या है, क्या आपको एक single source चाहिए, क्या आपको एक application layer चाहिए और server layer चाहिए, अलग अलग चाहिए. So it's your call now. अब ये चेंज करने के लिए आपको समझ आना चाहिए कि भाई व्हाट इज द डिफरेंस बिटवीन application.js, app.js एंड server.js. व्हाट इज एप्लीकेशन लेयर, व्हाट इज सर्वर लेयर, है ना. तो ये दोनों के बीच में डिफरेंस आपको समझ आएगा, तब तो आप चेंज करोगे. दिस इज वेयर आई एम सेइंग दैट यू नीड टू स्टिल लर्न, यू नीड टू स्टिल हैव द अंडरस्टैंडिंग कि भाई चल क्या रहा है, व्हाट इज दिस कोड रिटन, व्हाट इज इट रियली डूइंग. यू स्टिल नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड द गुड पार्ट ऑफ थिंग्स, द राइट पार्ट ऑफ थिंग्स एंड द रॉन्ग पार्ट ऑफ थिंग्स. स्टिल यू नीड टू हैव दैट अंडरस्टैंडिंग. कॉर्स क्या काम करता है, यू नीड टू स्टिल अंडरस्टैंड. express.json क्यों लिखा है यहाँ पे, अच्छा इट इज़ यूज्ड फॉर बॉडी पार्सिंग. तो ये बेसिक चीज़ें आपको समझ आनी चाहिए. You can see most of the part it has written over here. Now as an engineer you to understand, you to go and review this part. अच्छा, it has created this products का API, एक search API बनाई है. It has created a create product API. It has created a particular delete API for deleting the products as well, right? So now the part comes that okay, how it is right deleting the data. Just imagine कि आपको data को hard delete नहीं करना. Your requirement of the project is that you need to soft delete it. Soft delete मतलब let's say you just want to make it is active 0. You don't want to delete the entire record itself. This is where you need to do changes. आपको ये changes आप manually करो या फिर एक नया prompt लिखो, आपके ऊपर है. बट ये understanding जो होती है of the system is still important. ठीक है, so you can see इट हैज रिटन मेजर पार्ट ऑफ योर कोड. सी, मेजर पार्ट ऑफ द कोड. यहाँ पे देखो, क्रिएट प्रोडक्ट की पूरी एपीआई लिख दी उसने. क्या है? कुछ भी नहीं है. इट जस्ट सिंपली टेक्स द MongoDB का mongoose collection and creates this particular request dot body. Again, request body validate हुआ होगा उसके पहले कि in product you should have this things, product name, product price, product quantity, and so on. And once it has created this, it simply returns a certain response, 201, successfully created a new product, and with a success and the product that has created. It has handled the error scenarios as well inside try catch. In case if an error is a validation error, it technically gives a validation error response. Otherwise, it gives you a 500 internal server error response, and so on. Okay? So all this hard part of things, जो कि बहुत repetitive है, अगर आप कोई भी एपीआई बना रहे हो उसमें ट्रैक कैच लगाओगे, एरर हैंडलिंग लगाओगे, रिक्वेस्ट रिस्पॉन्स हैंडलिंग लगाओगे, राइट, ये बेसिक चीज़ें आप करोगे, है ना. वो रिपीटेटिव काम यू शुड आस्क एआई टूल्स टू डू इट फॉर यू. बट द एक्चुअल पार्ट ऑफ, लेट्स से, डू आई नीड रेट लिमिटिंग ओवर हियर, डू आई नीड एडिशनल ऑथेंटिकेशन ओवर हियर, डू आई नीड टू हैंडल creation of products based on the user, let's say the identity of the user. Only admins can create products. Normal users cannot create products. Only admins can delete the products. A normal user cannot delete the product. Let's say, for example, if I want to allow search, so let's say I want to apply additional optimization on my search. How search is happening right now, it is using regex to search it. So again, not very optimized. How can I make it optimized? How can I do keyword based searching, है ना. तो ये सारी चीज़ें जो है वो आपको additional करनी होगी, जो टेक्निकली आपको समझ आना चाहिए कि क्या करना है. एंड दैट्स वाई यू स्टिल नीड सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स टू डू द जॉब. ठीक है. AI can write the code, but AI cannot be 100% stand alone in completing the entire feature. You need human intervention still to understand best practices, to relate AI written code and the product requirement. जो कोड है, it's just a instruction to your computer or to your particular backend system. But is it working according to the business requirement, to the company standards, to the normal flow, the architecture, how additional things can be attended over here. वो सारी चीज़ों के लिए still you need good developers, है ना. The whole and soul of this particular practical demo was to explain you कि यार code AI can write, है ना. But what is to be done with this code? What is to be achieved with this code? How can you identify loopholes? For example, यहाँ पे बहुत सिंपल है. दिस इज डूइंग व्हाट? दिस इज टेक्निकली हार्ड डिलीटिंग अ पर्टिकुलर रिकॉर्ड which is not acceptable. How can you delete a product altogether? How can you delete customer data altogether? Let's say अगर यूजर को डिलीट करना है तो how can you delete the user altogether? You need to soft delete it by making it is active zero. ये बहुत छोटी चीज़ है, बट ट्रस्ट मी, दिस इज़ वेयर इंजीनियरिंग माइंडसेट कम्स इन द पिक्चर. अगेन, बहुत अच्छे यूज़ केस हो सकते हैं, बट ये बहुत छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल दे रहा हूँ मैं आपको. बट दिस कैन technically prove that you still need human intervention in a lot of places, not just to write code, but actually understand security concerns, feature concerns, best practices, मॉड्यूलेशन ऑफ द रिक्वायरमेंट, है ना. तो ये सारी चीज़ें आपको स्टिल करनी है एज एन इंजीनियर, है ना. सो द होल एंड सोल पॉइंट इज, जो भी हार्ड वर्क है, राइटिंग रिपीटेटिव कोड एज इन क्या होता है संजय? बॉयलर प्लेट क्रिएशन, एपीआई स्ट्रक्चर क्रिएशन, डेटाबेस कनेक्शन, ये सारी बहुत रिपीटेटिव काम है. आस्क एआई टू डू इट, है ना. ये जो देख रहे हो आप यहाँ पे, दिस इज अ वेरी वेरी रिपीटेटिव थिंग. इन कैश यू हैंडल द वैलिडेशन एरर, द ऑब्जेक्ट एरर, द इंटरनल सर्वर एरर्स. यू हैंडल इट लिटरली, यू राइट द कोड फॉर इट, है ना. ask AI to do it, है ना. Probably it'll make things a lot more optimized and faster. ठीक है. You should be an orchestrator. You should be a reviewer जो कि वो कोड को रिव्यू कर रहा है. सिस्टम को एज एन ऑर्केस्ट्रेटर देखो रादर देन अ डेवलपर. बी अ प्रोडक्ट इंजीनियर. डोंट बी अ actual Node.js developer or Spring Boot developer or Python developer. Don't do that, है ना. Be a product engineer who technically can understand software at a higher level in a very zoomed out manner. ठीक है. You need to be a software engineer. Don't be a Java developer. Don't be a Python developer, है ना. I see students who are very constrained कि यार मैं Node.js ही करूँगा, I love JavaScript, I cannot leave JavaScript, I don't like Java, I don't like Python. Don't do that, guys. Languages का part should not be a restriction. You need to be a good developer. अगर आपको backend architecture आता है अच्छे से, if you know request basically the API understanding, if you have decent understanding on REST, if you have OOPS principles understanding, if you have security principles, authentication understanding, you are a developer. But if you know just Node.js, you are just a Node.js developer or a Node.js user. Don't be a Node.js user, be a software engineer, be a product engineer who knows systems from a zoomed out version. ठीक है, all of you have been in a loop कि यार मैं Node.js developer हूँ, मैं Python developer हूँ, मैं Flask developer हूँ, मैं Spring Boot developer हूँ. That's not the thing. If you're still in that loop, trust me, that's a problem. So try to be a zoomed out, a holistic engineer per se, not a user of any technology. ठीक है, that's the basic part. Let me quickly see what else can we talk about. Yeah, okay, so one more thing, one more interesting thing. Now let's say for example, Sanjay, I have a resume, let's say, and let's say for example I want to check if my resume is nice. Let's say what optimization can I do on my resume, and so on, so on, right? You previously used to ask कि भैया ठीक है मैं लेट्स से अमेजोन में अप्लाई कर रहा हूँ, है ना. सो यू वुड से, यू वुड गो एंड कनेक्ट टू अमेजोन डेवलपर ओवर लिंक्डइन एंड यू विल से ओके कैन यू प्लीज रिव्यू माय रिज्यूम, है ना. गॉन आर दोज डेज. You go to your senior in the college and ask them to review your resume, your professors and review your resume, है ना. Gone are those days. Take your resume, go to any of the LLMs and just ask it to review it for you, है ना. Such simple things. I'm just giving you a demo, okay? Just for example, a quick demo. Let's say for example I go to Claude. Let's say I just go to Claude, and let's say at Claude I'm not logged in. Very interesting. Let me quickly just go and log in. It will log in, just a second. Yeah, so I'm logged into Claude right now. Okay, I'll just do one thing. I have a demo resume that I just randomly prepared using the AI tool. Let me go to desktop here and let me just take the PDF version of this demo. Okay, again I'll just also show you the resume. Let me quickly just open the resume over here. यहाँ पे चलते हैं यहाँ पे एंड लेट मी ओपन दिस पर्टिकुलर रिज्यूम. ठीक है, इट्स अ डिसेंट रिज्यूम दैट वन हैज़ प्रिपेयर्ड. ठीक है, यू कैन सी एजुकेशन, बीटेक इन कंप्यूटर साइंस, एमटेक लाइक BS in computer science, MS in computer science, a few projects that they have created, make my trip clone, movie comparison. ठीक है, a COVID-19, I'm not sure why they have kept COVID-19 tracker now, Netflix clone, then a few achievements, a national level hackathon, marathon programmer, and so on, few courses that they have done, skills, and they are an engineer actually, you know, they are working from last 5 years, you can see over here. Okay, pretty interesting. Okay, so I'll just do one thing. Just imagine I'm this person and I'm giving this particular resume for a review. So what I can do, I can just simply go to, let's say, Claude. Again, Claude is amazing for such things, document reading and everything, and I can simply say please okay, I'll say go through my resume and help me review my resume as a L6 Google engineer. ठीक है, I'll just give it simple prompt, है ना. Give me areas where I can probably I can be better if I plan to apply to any of the Mang companies. ठीक है, so let me just go and execute this, है ना. You'll see actually it is just going to go through the entire resume, understand the resume, what is your role, what do you do, and so on. ठीक है, and it's going to actually give you a certain review as a Google engineer. अगर आपको, let's say if this LLM was a Google engineer altogether, है ना, and let's say if it gives you a certain review of the areas and the places where you can improve, and so on. ठीक है, and you can see it is giving you an actual understanding. The honest summary: the raw experience is solid, 3+ years experience, good scope, but the resume reads like task log. Look at this. The resume reads like a task log, not as an impact story. वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. देखो, अगर आप रिज्यूम ओपन करोगे एक बार, तो आप यहाँ पे देखोगे उन्होंने जो फीचर्स लिखे हैं ना, दैट ही दे प्रोबेबली engineered codes v2 for something something slashing something something, है ना, 5 to 500 millisecond. You can see worked on DevOps team with aims to make code highly reusable, worked on creating end-to-end product for cryptocurrency something something, है ना. So I've just written some raw things, है ना, बहुत raw things लिखी है मैंने यहाँ पे. और यहाँ पे देखो उनकी जो रिव्यू है, it's very very precise. The resume reads like a task log. It's like you have done this task 1 2 3 4, है ना, but not an impact story. Mang interviews are and recruiters are filtering for scale. Obviously, if you're applying for Amazon, Microsoft, LinkedIn, they look for scale. What is the scale are you achieving? How many users have you targeted? आपके ये फीचर के कितने यूजर्स थे? What is the peak user interaction? What is the NPS score? What is the achievement in terms of business that you have achieved using this particular feature, है ना. So scale, complexity, measurable outcomes. What is the business growth that you have achieved? For example, अगर आपने कोई नया feature बनाया, what is the business outcome that you have reached? For example, you have increased the business by, let's say, $1 lakh a month, or let's say a certain X dollars by month, or let's say if you have optimized some existing feature of the company. जैसे यहाँ पे इन्होंने लिखा है कि दे हैव ऑप्टिमाइज सम फीचर, राइट, ऑटोमेशन कुछ किया है. तो डिफाइन कि क्या ये ऑटोमेशन जो आपने किया है, ये ऑप्टिमाइजेशन जो आपने किया है, उससे क्या एडवांटेज हुआ है in terms of number of users who have completed the journey. What is the impact in terms of business? Give numbers, don't just define tasks. So you can see it is literally giving you proper understanding के overall signals आपकी क्या, like for example impact clarity 3 out of 4 है, technical depth 4 out of 10 है, right. So now it's giving you an overview, and then after it's also giving you the areas. For example, what can you improve? क्या, like what is the current structure, how can you write it better? So look at this, it says built a scraper for insurer portal something something, like using Puppeteer. So it says कि ये statement अच्छा नहीं है, use this particular statement for a better understanding, better impact. For example, यहाँ पे एक simple string लिखा है आपने, DevOps के टीम का काम किया, कुछ किया. But if you say something like designed a shared component library adopted by 3 product teams, cutting features setup time by 40%, right. So define things in numbers कि आपका impact क्या है, ठीक है. See, it is literally giving you areas of improvements, है ना. Scaling signals are missing. क्या कितना scale था आपके system का, कितने users को आपने serve किया, and so on. Things like project section में क्या क्या issues हैं. For example, COVID tracker इतना अच्छा project नहीं है. It is recommending you to actually make a better project which should actually involve something like queues, caching, concurrency, है ना. तो ये सारी चीज़ें important है. It's giving you literally feedback. अगर आप एक गूगल इंजीनियर से रियल टाइम फिजिकली बात करोगे ना, वो भी आपको इतने पॉइंट्स नहीं दे पाएगा और इतने प्रिसाइज पॉइंट नहीं दे पाएगा जो कि आपको एक LLM दे देगा, है ना. अ फ्री वर्जन ऑफ दिस LLM, है ना. सो लाइक ट्राई टू यूज AI tools here in such scenarios, please. It's going to help you a lot, trust me. ठीक है. This is the main idea. This is what I wanted to majorly cover. If you are a let's say a student, or let's say if you are a working professional, how should you incorporate AI in your usage? ठीक है. I hope this makes sense. Great. Let's do one. Let's take a few doubts, guys, है ना. So I'm open for doubts. I am looking at your chat, guys. Would love to take a few doubts from you now. How can I an intern at Policy Bazaar? Sir, how can I intern at Policy Bazaar and PW? But totally depends upon what role you are really targeting. If you are targeting for, let's say, a software engineering role or a DevOps engineer role, try to build your skills around it. For example, if you're targeting a software engineering role, a backend engineer, try to learn one language, any language that you like. Learn one backend technology. जावा से अच्छी लगती है, Node.js सीखो, जावा अच्छा लगता है, स्प्रिंग बूट सीखो, पाइथन अच्छा लगता है, फ्लास्क सीखो, ठीक है. गो अच्छा लगता है, गो बैकएंड सीखो, है ना. यू लर्न वन बैकएंड टेक्नोलॉजी, बी गुड एट डेटा स्ट्रक्चर्स एंड एल्गोरिथम्स, लर्न DSA from the basics, not cramp it, but actually learn it with a proper understanding of things. प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग अच्छे से करो, ट्राई टू सॉल्व प्रॉब्लम्स ऑन लीड कोड अदर प्लेटफॉर्म्स, बी गुड देयर। एंड या इफ़ यू आर अ गुड इंजीनियर, आपके बेसिक्स क्लियर है, डीए से अच्छा है आपका, बैक एंड टेक्नोलॉजी थोड़ा सा आता है आपको, प्रोजेक्ट बनाया एक दो अच्छे आपने, सिस्टम डिज़ाइन के बेसिक्स पता है आपको, एंड इन ऑल दिस जर्नी यूज़ ए आई टूल्स, as I was saying from last 1.5 hours, use AI tools to learn faster, to build projects faster, to make things faster. AI tools is not about getting your task done completely. It's about just making your job faster, and that's what company is looking for. Trust me. And if you are doing all these things properly, buddy, you can definitely apply for if these companies or even better companies, uh, if you have the skills. Trust me. Sir, it can helpful for class 11 ISC student. I didn't get your question, buddy. I didn't get your question. Fat Snap, can you just repeat your question in a precise manner, please? Uh, Okay, can I take some more doubts? So one doubt that during contest should we use any LLM for creating test cases to check my code before submission? Cause we do need to think about what scenarios it's possible to for a problem. I would say during the contest you shouldn't, yeah. ठीक है? Why? Because again contest is kind of a scenario when you are in an interview, है ना? अब interview में आप नहीं यूज़ कर सकते एल एल एम टूल ज़्यादा। अगेन इफ यू आर इन एनी ऑफ द इंटरव्यूज ऑफ अ प्रोडक्ट बेस्ड कंपनी or let's say even a startup or an MNC, no company would literally allow you to use LLM tools, literally GPT, Gemini in your DS around, है ना? It's not recommended. But yes, when you are in the learning phase, probably, or let's say you are in your post contest phase जहाँ पे you were stuck in the contest on a particular question. Now you need to understand, okay, what edge case was breaking, what is the problem with my code, how can I make my code more optimized, ये जगह पे, ये वाले part पे use AI tools, ठीक है? Use AI tools amazingly in your learning part, the actual pre-contest part and the post-contest part. Middle of the contest AI tools को use करोगे, you are spoiling yourself. Trust me, don't do that, please. Again, repeating my things, use AI as an assistant who can help you learn, help you solve issues, but not really make it a master who knows everything but you don't know anything, है ना? आपको prompt engineer नहीं बनना, ठीक है? There is a very bad hype around prompt engineering. Prompt engineering is nothing, honestly. There is AI augmented engineers, AI engineers, सॉफ्टवेयर AI डेवलपर्स, है ना? सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर्स प्लस AI डेवलपर्स, है ना? ये कॉम्बिनेशन बनाओ जहाँ पे यू आर अ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर, यू आर स्टिल द मास्टर, यू आर यूजिंग AI टूल्स एज अ असिस्टेंट टू मेक योर जॉब फास्टर. दैट्स द पार्ट, है ना? सर डीए से पाइथन से करूँ या किसी और लैंग्वेज से? दिस इज द मोस्ट repetitive question I have seen among students when I, like, nothing wrong with it. When I was a student in probably in my 12th standard, I started learning Java. I still remember मैं सबसे पहले लैंग्वेज जो सीखी थी जावा थी, फिर पाइथन सीखा था, एंड फिर C++, C सीखा था कॉलेज में, एंड देन मल्टीपल अदर लैंग्वेजेस. बट when I was in my school in my first year, I had this doubt कि यार क्या करना चाहिए, पाइथन करना चाहिए, जावा करना चाहिए. I was very confused between them. Sorry, not Python, Java and C++, इन दोनों में confused था मैं. तो I still remember I wasted probably 20-25 odd days in that idiotic discussion in my first year. Guys, language doesn't matter. Language matters zero, especially in 2026. 2021 में भी language matter नहीं करता था, है ना? अभी तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं करता. Your ability to problem solve, your ability to write optimized code in terms of good time complexity, good space complexity is something that matters. Language doesn't matter at all, trust me. So stop that question in your mind. Just remove that question from your mind. Just start learning. Start with the language that you like. Python अच्छा लगता है, Python से करो. Java अच्छा लगता है, Java से करो. Doesn't matter. Start problem solving. The number of questions that you solve yourself is important. किस language से किया है, it doesn't matter at all. Trust me. ठीक है? So start problem solving, guys. Don't really think much around languages. Sir, I am a professional in CPP, Python, Shift. Currently, I am a trainee at LOS Student Development Center by Apple and Infosys, and also I have been into 40 hackathons and into okay, that sounds good. Chitranji, amazing buddy. Have hands-off experience in agentic skills, being agentic AI, 2 years of efficient and faster my skills. That sounds good, buddy. You know, that definitely sounds pretty nice here. Uh, is two-page resume good, or should we make it as one page? Because I have explained my projects in short possible with 3 points. I would definitely suggest here to make it a one-page resume. Any good resume that you can see. Let's say even I see resumes with 6 years, 7 years, 8 years of experience in good companies. Honestly, they have one single page resume. You know, अब आपके पास 8 साल का एक्सपीरियंस है तो यार कितना सारा चीज़ें हैं आपको आपके पास लिखने के लिए, राइट? बट अगेन दैट कैन बी सफाइज्ड इन वन पेज, ट्रस्ट मी. Keep things very precise. Don't make your resume very wordy. As a HR की तरह सोचो यार, है ना? Let's say if an HR of a very normal product based company, small product based company also releases a job vacancy, hundreds of people are applying. Just go and check on LinkedIn, go and check on Naukri and everywhere the number of applications. HRs do not see your resume, do not read your resume so much in detail. They don't. They just check, okay, what is experience you have, what company have you worked in, what is the college that you are currently in, and project का overview लेते हैं. अच्छा, you have done this project, ठीक है. They don't read things in that much detail, and even lot of resumes are not even seen by HR. They are being read by some some AI tool, some resume shortlister, ठीक है. And these tools generally see keywords कि आपने किस किस चीज़ों पे काम किया है, किस कंपनी में आप काम कर रहे हो अभी, किस कॉलेज से हो आप, है ना. ये बेसिक चीज़ें देखता है, प्रोजेक्ट्स का ओवरव्यू लेता है, ठीक है. सो ट्राई टू राइट थिंग्स इन अ वेरी प्रिसाइज मैनर, जहाँ पे आप चीज़ों को बहुत इम्पैक्ट एरिया के हिसाब से समझाते हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल आपको दिखाया ये सारे पॉइंट्स देख रहे हो आप. All these points talk about the same thing, that you talk about impact. Don't say आपने क्या बनाया है in theory. Try to say what you have, what impact have you created, what is the latency that you reduced, what is the speed, what is the impact in terms of user interaction that you have improved, and so on so on. ठीक है, that's the main goal. Show the impact in a very small precise manner. Okay, I'm a master social worker student of social science student. Can I do AML? Definitely you can, bro. But no, nothing is stopping you. Okay, non-technical students, again, you see the course part at PW that we cover. It covers things from really scratch. Not just data science and AI ML data science, but also software engineering courses. All of the courses that you see now, they are covered from really depth, especially AI ML data science and software engineering, which I have personally seen, I have personally instructed. They are covered from really scratch. Zero technical knowledge is required there for sure. Do go and read the course, understand the course, talk to the POC there, what is the course expecting, and then you can start for sure. Okay, even if you are planning to learn by yourself, no technical knowledge is required to learn something from fresh. Software engineering, AI ML, data science, start from scratch. You can always start from scratch. No one learns anything before they are really born. Okay, everyone learns here. So start from scratch, buddy. Don't worry, you will probably take a month or 2 months more than a normal person who would already has understanding. But definitely anyone can learn if they really will to do things. For an internship, what all questions can be asked? Totally depends, buddy, what role you are applying. है ना? If you are applying for a front-end engineer, a back-end engineer, what role you are applying totally depends there. But overall, just use AI tools to even plan what you need to learn. Let's say, for example, I plan to be a back-end engineer. I'm on zero knowledge right now. I can get AI tools prepare a plan for me. कौन सी लैंग्वेज से स्टार्ट करना चाहिए, जावा स्टार्ट करना चाहिए, जावा में क्या क्या पढ़ना चाहिए, लर्निंग रिसोर्सेज कहाँ से पढ़ना चाहिए, फ्री रिसोर्सेज बताओ कहाँ से पढ़ना चाहिए. जावा हो गया, अब मुझे बैकएंड पढ़ना है, तो बैकएंड में क्या पढ़ूँ मैं, एपीआई स्ट्रक्चर पढ़ूँ, लेट्स से बैकएंड सिस्टम में क्या क्या चीज़ें मुझे समझनी चाहिए, डेटाबेस पर्सपेक्टिव से क्या क्या सीखना चाहिए मुझे, प्रोजेक्ट बनाना है, प्रोजेक्ट आइडियाज़ में हेल्प चाहिए. ऑल ऑफ दैट कैन बी प्लान्ड. Use AI for your advantage, है ना. People use it for, like Google search, I'm not sure why. Use it for prepare your actual assistant who can help you for anything, trust me. ठीक है. Can you suggest me some good projects to students I want to join Policyweather and work with you? I definitely do get this. Again, a very interesting question here. Again, very specific to what role you are applying, buddy. Front end, back end, mobile dev, So honestly, that's what I'm trying to repeat again and again. You don't need people who are working in the company to guide you. You don't need a Google developer to guide you how for applying to a Google job. Use AI tools there. Let's say, for example, you are applying for a Node.js developer. What are some good Node.js projects I can create in order to get hired in a good company? है ना ask those things, है ना ask those perspectives. Trust me, it's going to give you some really good flows that you can really start off with. uh, According to market, what should I start preparing? I am graduating 27 and I do ML DevOps in front end. Is front end dead, bro? Front end is never dead, at Policy Bazaar we have, let's say, over 100 people of teams just doing front end things. uh, that comes in that involves designing part of things, React part of things, which is basically the development part of things, as well as mobile development part of things. Everything is front end design, mobile dev, web dev. Over 100 people. Even if you take an average salary of 10 lakh rupees, which is very minimal, just imagine the amount of money. 10 crore rupees, one person 10 lakhs, 100 people 10 crore rupees. The company is spending 10 crore rupees just for a front end team in just one company. In let's say one company, one team. Is front end dead? I don't think so. Take care. Front end will never be dead. Back end will never be dead. DevOps will never be dead. Software engineering will never be dead. But yes, as my PPT actually says something to answer your question very nicely. Okay, over here. Okay, engineers who embrace AI as a co-pilot rather than a competitor will dominate the placements and accelerate. Okay, someone who really uses AI tools in a way it should be used, in terms of preparation, in terms of planning, in terms of doing their daily activities, are the ones who are going to actually excel. Software engineering is not dead. AI is not going to take your job, but some engineer who knows AI tools really well will definitely take the job of the person who does not knows AI. ठीक है? I hope this point is very much clear to you, buddy. Yeah, क्या BCA करना सही होगा? Definitely, why not, buddy? है ना? Totally depends. अगर आपने medical field लिया था in your 12th grade or something, BCA would be probably one of the options to get into tech. Nothing wrong with it, do you really learn things there? Do you really develop skills there? That is what matters. Okay. Definitely, but you can check out the open roles on LinkedIn, other and their profile. Again, we have a website. We have the company's website for openings and everything. Please check that once and read the skills that are required, and then probably prepare that way, buddy. ठीक है. I can see most of the questions are covered over here. ठीक है. I hope, guys, we have covered all the questions, majorly everything that we intended to, and hopefully everyone learned something from here. Thank you so much for giving almost your 2 hours. It was a great session. I hope everyone learned something new in today's session. Thank you so much for joining over here. This is where we wrap up, guys. But I hope everyone had some good understanding, some good learning. Definitely the next steps, as it says, start learning, guys. Start with learning concepts, DSA, system design, computer networks, object-oriented programming, databases. Still stay as skills. You need to learn them for sure. Additional things, start integrating one AI tool into your daily workflow. Start integrating it. Probably start just using Perplexity, ChatGPT, Gemini for learning new things, for researching new things. Start using Cursor. Change your editor. Start using Cursor for your code writing and everything. Okay? Small such things are going to help you actually grow as an engineer in a very overall manner. Okay? So yeah, guys, that's all from my side. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope everyone learned something new in today's class. You have a very beautiful career ahead. Please keep learning, keep smiling, and keep doing good, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.